Hi, this is Randy, and we're continuing with the installation of pfSense. And I just want to point out a couple things before we jump into assigning our IP addresses and whatnot. From this point forward, or to this point, pfSense is installed. It's not configured, but it is installed. So if you needed to, you could power it off. You've got options down here within your menu structure. 5 is a reboot, 6 is a shutdown. Down here. We could also snapshot it, and I did. I took a snapshot of it just so I could revert back and redo the configuration if I didn't go quite right. You have the option too of sizing it here. Got a little bit of flexibility here where I can make it bigger, and we can go full screen with it. This will jump off the screen, but I'll come back with it. So you do have some. Excuse me. You do have some options to get a better display for yourself. But what we want to do is we want to figure out how the interfaces are assigned and then assign our own static addresses. So to look at the interfaces, we need to use option 1, because right now it tells us what's on the interfaces, but it doesn't tell us which network card those are. To see the MAC addresses, we need to go ahead and select option number 1. Alright, so here's option number 1. And what we've got here then, if I can write on this, is we've got our references to. No, my pen's not working on that. Okay, we've got our option to what EM0 is and what EM1 is. So EM0 has the A6 address, and if I look at my build document, that is my internet NIC. I'm pretty sure. And let me just make a note of my notepad here. So EM0 has the A6 address, and that I believe is internet. I'll go double check. And then EM1 would then be my, well, internet would be WAN, and then my other one would be LAN. So if I wanted to check that, let me just go ahead and close this, and I'd go to the settings of my VN. I've got it highlighted here, and I'd come down here and I'd go to my network adapter. That one's connected to the internet and A6. Okay, so we guessed right. 50-50 chance. We guessed right by assigning the first one internet and the second one to, or excuse me, internet and to WAN, and the second one to LAN. We did good. We did good. We don't have to make any changes there. But we still, these wizards are a little bit not very like forgiving. In that once you start them, you got to finish them. Okay, so let's finish this wizard. It says, should VLANs be used? No, we're not using any VLANs. Okay. Enter the WAN interface. It is EM0, and we'll just go ahead and verify that. EM0, the number 0, not an O. Okay. Enter the LAN interface. For us, that's EM1. Now, this is a little bit redundant because we verified that it was set correctly, but once you get into this wizard, you got to finish it. Okay, do we wish to proceed? Yeah, that looks good. WAN is EM0 and LAN is EM1. Okay. Once this comes back, then the next thing to do is we need to select the interfaces and assign the static IP addresses. And this can take a few minutes, and perhaps what I'll do is, not to bore you, is I'll do like the first one, and then I'll just wrap up the video and let you finish it on your own, and then we'll come back and we'll come in through the web interface. Okay, so here we are back at our menu, and we've got WAN and LAN identified, and now we need to set addresses to it. So that would be option number 2. Okay. Enter the number of the interface you wish to configure. Let's go ahead and I'll do the WAN interface with you. And I'll do option number 1. Okay. Configure the IPv4 for the WAN interface via DHCP. No, we want a static address on ours. Enter the WAN IPv4. So I'm looking at my build document, and for me that's 198.187.236.38, and it is a /26, so be careful on that. We're so used to doing /24, but that's going to come up in another question here. So there's my WAN IPv4, And how many bits for the mask? This is where we would put in a 26. This is a definite got you because you don't use 26 very often. Okay, and there we go. Okay, for LAN, IPv4. Oh, for the gateway, I forgot about that. The the gateway address I'll have to look up. Let me just do that here. All right, I just paused the video and went and grabbed that information, and I added it to my cheat sheet here. I added the IPv4 gateway and the IPv6 gateway. So let's see if we can keep moving with this. So then my IPv4 gateway, I lost my document. I'll pull this out of the way. My IPv4 gateway is 198.187.236.62. Okay. Okay, IPv6 DHCP, no. Okay, so we're continuing on here with the WAN interface, and the video is getting to run a little bit long, but let me finish this, and then I'll let you do the LAN interface, and then we'll come back and pick up together from there. So I do not want to use DHCP for my IPv6. Enter the IPv6 address, okay, 2620:2D:A000. Looking again at my build document, so I am :FFFF:38. Okay, that is the internet interface in front of the firewall. Okay, 2620:2DD FFF:38. Okay. All right, now that is a 64 value, which is very common for IPv6. It's unusual to see anything but a 64. Okay, so it's a /64. Okay, the upstream gateway for IPv6 is 2620:A000:FFFF:62. And if you're wondering, this all came off of that same. Let me just pull it over right here. This right here. We were here before, but this is where we pulled all this information from. It's a little bit confusing. I'm going to let this video run long because this is important stuff. We're up to 8 minutes here. It's a little bit confusing. We've got IPv4 and IPv6 for the host, and I've tried to keep that as a separate document. Then we've got IPv4 and IPv6 for bridging between the physical and the virtual world, and that's what we're doing right now. And then we have IPv6 internal to the virtual world. So it takes a little bit of thought, and you got to kind of be careful. And that's why we have the drawings and we have all these addresses is to give you where you can look at it, pencil in your values, and get a high level of confidence that you're doing the right thing. Okay, now here is where it wants to know about when we come in through a web browser, whether we want to use HTTP or HTTPS. And you know, it's kind of your call. We're only going to make this available on the internal interface, and so I'm okay with HTTP, and I'll just go ahead and let it go HTTP. So do you want to revert to HTTP for the web configurator? And I'm going to say yes, I do. That'll just enable it so that I don't have to, say HTTPS. Okay, it's going to load this. It's going to restart it. It's assigning those values. Okay, and so now we come up here, and I've only done half of it, and I'm going to pause the video here, and I'll finish my half, and you finish your half. But I've just done the WAN, and before we leave, just take a look at it. 198, 187. Okay, that all looks good. But if not, we would come back in here and fix it, or if our web interface, if we could get to it through a web browser, we could also do these settings in there. So I'm going to do this. I'm way long on the video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and finish my interface, and then we'll pick up and finish it up.